Our next storyteller you may have seen before. How many people have seen John McCutcheon? How many people have heard John McCutcheon on the radio or on a resource? John McCutcheon is here, and it's a great treat for me to introduce him. I met John McCutcheon when we were both working for the Friends General Conference, a Quaker organization at Oberlin College a while back, and I was amazed at watching him work for the Quakers. The Quakers loved him. I'm a Catholic. I love him. I know Methodists that love him. Everybody loves John McCutcheon. He is brilliant. He is prodigious. He is a problem solver. Once when he was raising his children, he looked around for some resources to play for his children, some musical resources for children, and realized that there was no musical resources for children that were satisfactory to his family's needs. What did he do? Did he despair? No. He solved the problem and made a CD perfect for children called How'd You Do? And then, after a while, he made another CD perfect for children called Something Else. And then he made another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and ended up doing 7 CDs perfect for children. But he didn't stop there. When somebody wanted to make an advertisement for mail, he allowed them to use a Pete Seeger song that he had recorded, Send Myself to You, which we heard on the TV again and again a couple of years ago at Christmas time. John McCutcheon is a problem solver and a prodigious problem solver. And since the 70s, he has produced 40 albums. 40 albums. His latest one is in honor of Pete Seeger. Working on a thing called Ghost Light, he wrote 30 songs in 25 days. Prodigious. He wrote 30 songs in 25 days and then had to put half of them aside so he could make an album that had a regular size. I'm going to turn around for a second and ask, is it technically ready? And then turn back to you and pretend I didn't just turn my back on you. Nice to see your back. Welcome back. He is prodigious. 30 songs in 25 days. John McCutcheon is a problem solver. If he sees a problem, he solves it. If he sees a problem that he can't solve by himself, he writes a song and gets you to help him solve the problem. Will you welcome John McCutcheon?
You know, these people who run around and prepare the stage so that you can enjoy this rarely get the appreciation they deserve. Don't stand back there. Come right up here. That's it. You're nicer to look at than I am anyway. You stick out your little hand to every woman, kid, and man. You sing ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? How'd you do? You sing ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? How'd-gee, ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? Gee-do-gee, di-gee, how'd you do? Do-do-do-do. How'd you do? How'd you do? I'll slow it down. How'd you, ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee. On my sidewalk, on my street, to every person that I meet, I sing ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? How'd you do? You sing ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? How'd you, ho-gee, hee-gee, hi-gee, how'd you do? Gee-do-gee, di-gee, how'd you do? How'd you do? Do-do-do-do, how'd you do? Do-do-do-do, how'd you do? Okay, we have a problem up here, and it's time to solve it. I have presented a song that is not in the English language. But you all can help me out. Every time I sing, how'd you do, 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 how'd you do, how'd you do, how'd you do, 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 how'd you do. Yeah, like that, only about 100 times better. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide the room up here. Group number one, group number two. Okay, group number one, let's try this. How'd you do, 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 how'd you do. Group number two. Would you like to show number one how to do this? How would you do, 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 how would you do? How would you do, 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 how would you do? How would you do, 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 how would you do? Okay, I would like to hear all the girls and the women in the whole tent try this. How would you do, 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 how would you do? Boys. How would you do, 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 how would you do? Very good. All right, enough of this dividing people up. There's way too much of that going on in the world today anyway. Let's all try it together. How would you do, 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 how would you do? I feel glad and you feel good. We brighten up our neighborhood with our ho-gee-hee-gee, hi-gee. How would you do? How would you do, 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 how would you do? How would you ho-gee-hee-gee, hi-gee, how would you do, do-do-gee-die-gee, how would you do, 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 how would you do? How would you do, 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 how would you do? That you do not need all this paraphernalia to play music. You don't have to have a stage. You don't have to have microphones or an audience. You don't have to have a sign language interpreter. You don't have to have all these instruments. You don't even have to be talented and good looking. No, all you need to do to be a musician and to play music is to be human, because it is something that human beings have been doing for as long as human beings have been on this planet. When we were drawing on cave walls, the one thing I do before I go out on stage every single time is I go back and I try to imagine the very first musician. It was a woman, I'm convinced, who without the aid of experience or example, just opened her mouth. What was it? After childbirth, falling in love, seeing a sunset, eating a meal, that kind of purity. So you don't have to be talented. That's beside the point. You just have to be brave. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the oldest human instrument in the world, our own bodies. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to have an orchestra over here. We're going to start over here. And here, there's only three rows. Most people, when they think about orchestras, they think of groups that have cellos and violins and timpani and trumpets. That's only one kind of orchestra, because that's only one kind of music. Music is nothing more than organized sound. So we're going to get organized in here today. And so to be in my orchestra, you only need to know three things. Number one, you are only going to make music with your hands, okay? And we're going to start over here. What's your name? Way down here in the front row. Maureen? Marty. We're going to start with Marty over here, and I'm going to slowly walk across the front until I get all the way down here to who's this person sitting on the ground? Dee Dee? Okay, from Marty to Dee Dee, you are the edges of the orchestra. What we're going to do is This is the second rule. I'm going to be doing something with my hands, and you wait until I am facing you, until you start. So, Marty, you're going to be the first person. Dee Dee, you're going to be the last person to join in, but be patient. I promise I will get to you. Everybody understand rule number 2? Say yes. Yes. Okay, rule number 3, the only other one there is keep doing what I have shown you to do until I come back to you. And then and only then, when I'm facing you, you change to whatever I'm doing with my hands. Everybody understand that? Say yes. Yes. Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to play the oldest human music in the world. I'm convinced that the first music that was composed by humans was imitating the world around them. We are still doing that. But before there was music, there was silence. We're going to see if we can get this piano to work. Because I had a request. There are some young boys who are watching this, who are watching the live stream because one of them is too sick to be here. That doesn't sound like any piano I've ever played. Wait. Yes. Yeah. Okay, well, this is going to be really interesting. No matter how old you are, there is always someone trying to tell you what to do with your time, right? When you're a kid, you think you are going to outgrow this. But you don't, do you? And everybody, no matter how old they are, says the same thing when confronted with bureaucratic idiocy. They'll say, I'm never voting for that guy again. Or, if I was in charge, things would be completely different around here. It may seem impossible to believe, but my children said that when they were young. And I heard it, in fact, one too many times. And I just said, sit down. Okay, okay. Tomorrow, you are in charge. You get to decide what we're going to eat, when Dad has to go to bed, who has to clean up what. You are completely in charge. You get to make every decision, but you have to write it down. And I handed each son a piece of paper and a marker, and feeling like Solomon himself, I went back to reading my book. 15 minutes later, the younger one, Peter, comes in and says, Dad, we need more paper. That's when I knew they're going to be good liberals. They're going to be writing lots of rules about everything all the time. And it wasn't too long before I saw them out in the yard playing. And I went back into the kitchen table, and there were two neat stacks of their paper in their little elementary school script. And I was reading through these things, and I thought, I'm going to steal these and write a song. If I ran the world, everything would change. The food and toy stores would be free with door-to-door delivery. Oh, what a party it would be if I ran the world. If I ran the world, each kid would have a bike, a swimming hole not far from home. No one would have to play alone. I can't even remember these words. If I ran the world. If I ran the world, all homework would be banned. The school week would be just one day, and all the rest we'd have for play. And I'd triple every teacher's pay. If I ran the world, if I ran the world, there would be no underwear. I'd never comb my hair. Peace would break out everywhere. And if I ran the world, each meal would have ice cream. The faucets would run juice and stuff. The tofu farms would have it rough, and everyone would have enough. If I ran the world. And if I ran the world, I'd never change my socks. My bedtime would be late at night. There'd always be a hallway light. Whatever's wrong, I'd make it right. If I ran the world, whatever's wrong, we'd make it right. If we ran the world. I was actually going to play some more piano or whatever this is, but I have no idea how to get off of 60s Reed EP. Yeah, that'd be good. So Ed was talking about this television commercial. And it actually started many years ago when I discovered I was going to be a parent. This is 34 years ago now. No, 36 years ago now. And I was filled with all the excitement and anticipation and pure white terror that every first-time parent feels, because this is the first thing in your life you could really screw up that would matter. And women, you see, women have this built-in social construct. They have baby showers, and they have magazines, and there's probably a 24-hour maternity channel. And not only that, they have mothers and sisters and sister-in-laws and grandparents and a woman at a bus stop is accosted with unsolicited advice. Am I right? Meanwhile, men are, it's usually not much more than a wink, a nudge, and I'll see you in 18 years. But amidst all this anxiety and doubt, there was one thing I was certain I was going to be good at, and that was singing my children to sleep. I knew how to do this. I had been putting people to sleep with my music for years. So confident was I that I had a plan. I was gonna keep a log. I was gonna sing different songs to my children every single night. And not only that, I was gonna write down the names of all the songs in order that I sang. Not only that, I was gonna write the lyrics to all these songs down and put them in a big, ever-expanding loose-leaf binder in order, so that when my own children became parents, I would present this book of songs to them, because I had read about the time my eldest was born how people in half-sleep states retain an amazing amount of the stimuli to which they're exposed. So I would hand them this book of songs that they didn't know that they knew, but that they knew, to sing to my grandchildren. It was a brilliant plan. Except for the fact that my children, like your children, like you children, wanted to hear the same 4 lousy songs every single night of their lives. And there was no changing the order. And there were no changing the words. No, Dad, my name is not in that song. The first one every night was Little Brown Jug, which concerned me. The second one was Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, 365 days a year. The third one, even though we didn't own a television set, was the Mickey Mouse Club theme song. And the fourth one was this song. It's not a Pete Seeger song, though Pete sang it. It's actually a Woody Guthrie song. Goes, I'm gonna wrap myself in paper, I'm gonna dab myself with glue, stick some stamps on the top of my head, I'm gonna mail myself to you. Now I have 2 sons and 3 stepdaughters, and they're all well into their 30s. And it's been a really long time since I've sung any of them to sleep. So I hadn't thought of this song or sung it in years. So it's quite a surprise when the U.S. Postal Service called me and wanted to use this recording of an old Woody Guthrie song of mine for the Christmas television commercials. And I thought, this is perfect. In the days of texting and email, Woody and I are teaming up to promote letter writing. It's kind of the story of my career. Well, the truth is, once the baseball season is over, I don't watch any television at all. And even though, as Ed mentioned, this commercial was pretty ubiquitous, I've never actually seen it. But one of the very first people who ever saw it was my youngest son, who called me from his dorm room in Chapel Hill one November night and says, Dad, I think I just heard you on a television commercial. I said, son, I am your father. What do you mean you think you heard me on a television commercial? He says, well, I'm not sure. I was across the hall last night to watch Sports Center, because, of course, across the hall, their dad pays for cable. And this commercial came on, and all of a sudden I hear this hammer dulcimer music, and I'm thinking, come on, what are the odds? I said, and? He says, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He said, I fell asleep. I'm gonna wrap myself in paper. I'm gonna dub myself with blue. Stick some stamps on the top of my head. I'm gonna mail myself. I'm gonna tie me in a little red string. I'm gonna tie blue bits too. Climb up into my mailbox. I'm gonna mail myself. When you find me in your mailbox, cut the string and let me out. Watch the glue off of my fingers, stick some bubble gum in my mouth. Take me out of my wrapping paper, wash the stamps off of my head. Pour me full of some ice cream soda, tuck me into a nice warm bed. I'm gonna wrap myself in paper. I'm gonna dab myself with glue, stick some stamps on the top of my head. I'm gonna mail myself. Thank you. Well, I'm going to finish off with something here that we can all sing. Before we take this dinner break, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for supporting this festival for over 4 decades now. I've been here many times, and it always feels like coming home. And thank you for keeping it going. Thank you for coming with your parents. Thank you for bringing your children. Thank you for bringing your grandchildren. Mine are showing up tonight. And they have no idea what I do. I mean, I sing for them every day. It's gonna blow their little minds. Thunder and lightning gave voice to the night. Little lame child cried aloud in her fright. Hush, little baby, a story I will tell of a love that has vanquished the powers of hell. This is your part. Hallelujah. The great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Try it. Hallelujah. The the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Sweetness in the air and justice on the wind. Laughter in the house where the mourners had been. The deaf shall have music, the blind have new eyes. Standards of death taken down by surprise. Hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Oh, where's that harmony? Hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Release for the captives, an end to the war. Streams in the desert, new hope for the poor. The little lame children shall dance as they sing and play with the bears and the lions in spring. Hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Hush, little baby, let go of your fears. The Lord loves his own, and your mother is here. The babe fell asleep as the lantern did burn. The mother sang until her bridegroom's return. Hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and hallelujah, the great storm is over. Lift up your wings and fly. Oh, you sing it, Jonesboro. Come on. Once more, hallelujah, the great storm